Welcome back to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex, and today we're going to be taking a look at OlliOlli World on the Nintendo Switch, the latest entry in the now classic series, but does it live up to the series pedigree and how does it all come together on the Switch? Well, hit subscribe for reviews and deals here weekly, and let's get started. Story, and we find ourselves in Radlandia, a world that can be considered one massive skate park across 5 different biomes. The idea here, 5 skate gods, they created this place for all to skate, but now one of these gods is considering stepping down, retiring from the job. They are looking for their next replacement, and you may just be the one. You need to prove your worth by overcoming each of the level's challenges. The story's fine, it's not deep, but you're accompanied by a group of locals that's Dad, a dude who owns a skate magazine, a filmmaker, and yeah, it's definitely a decent little crew. Now, I'd be lying if I didn't say by the end game I was getting a little burnt out on it all. It's brief, but there's dialogue before and after each and every level, but I think the smartest design they did here, it is actually optional. At the beginning, it will ask you, do you want to continue the conversation, or you can just choose to skip it entirely. Now, this is good too, because the game, if you're going back to retry levels, it likes to replay these dialogue moments over and over again, so at least you can avoid it. What it does achieve though, that sense of adventure, something the series has never really had before. It adds some meaning to your journey while also giving it a more kind of, out there sense of humour, which definitely works alongside the new visual style. Gameplay then, it tasks you with working through each biome. That first pass will be focused really on the story. It's you unlocking all locations while learning new skills from your crew. When you load up the game, it will be a few basic tricks and grinds, but this quickly evolves into advanced maneuvers, the ability to rotate, grab tricks, manuals, and wall rides. For a game with a relatively large selection of tricks, so otherwise known here as the Tricktionary, it's impressive how simple they keep the inputs, and that's what's always made OlliOlli special. It's a game that's not going to hold you back with, complicated combos of inputs, but rather it's asking you to master something extremely simplistic. The majority of tricks, so the right stick in a direction will control grabs, then the left stick, that's going to be grinds, basic moves and advanced tricks, also manuals and wall rides. Now that may sound like a lot linked to the same input, but it all works extremely well. The best way to see it, a different direction or pattern delivers something different. The only other input really that's going to be pushed, that is either a tap of the A button or you can hold A for a strong push as well. You can also then rotate with the triggers. There is a few more tricks in here then, things like the ability to land on stairs, but this covers the majority, and that Tricktionary accessible from the options menu. That will be a good place to pick up new moves to master, so you can advance those combos, and that's really the name of the game here, chase those high scores and overcome these objectives. The map here, though, it almost reminds me of that old school Mario hub world, complete a level, see a new location appear. It even then unlocks some secondary missions as well. For the most part, levels ask you to simply get from the beginning to end, but occasionally it will be a little bit more specific, like practice a new trick 10 times, land 2 wall rides, or let's say get a 10x combo. That core story then, unlocking everything, not long, maybe 4 hours, but that's not what you come here for. You come here to master the controls, and each level then has a huge amount of objectives attached. Think beat the local legend's high score, wall ride 20 times in a single run, maybe collect souvenirs or find a character in this world, and the list just goes on and on. It's not just for pride either. Each set of challenges unlocks more cosmetics and general items for your character, and this game, it packs this seriously comprehensive character creator. If that is your thing, you could waste away some serious time in this editor, but I'm more of a kind of, randomize until something I like pops up kind of guy. The maps are so strong though in their design. Each level has multiple routes, a gnarly route as well for those that want a real challenge, and it will quickly demand everything that you've got. Wipe out and it will take you back to the previous checkpoints, which are relatively generous throughout each world. Going for the challenge, no checkpoints, so that's going to be tough for sure, keeping you coming back, jumping in from the very beginning. It is also, though, as with everything here, completely addictive. Once multiplayer finally, it's got a couple of modes. That's going to be the Gnarvana League, that puts you into a group of 10 and you compete daily on a randomly generated course to deliver the highest score. The winner of the day not only gets the rank, but also unlocks even more collectibles. Finally, the Gnarvana portal. This is randomly generated locations as well, but you can share out these locations and again compete. I wish that it had a bigger focus on multiplayer though, honestly. I'm sure there's a way to make it more, let's say, aggressively competitive, but that competing daily, it definitely got me hooked, and there's also then a global leaderboard for every single level. Problems then, I have very few with the core experience. It controls as good as ever and it's completely addictive, but I did notice load screens here. I wouldn't call them long, it's just levels are kind of bite-sized, so you will be looking at them a lot, and occasionally they can drag out just a little bit. Then you throw in this like dialogue exchanges before and after, and it can definitely impact the pacing of the game, maybe just a little bit more than I would have liked. As the game goes on as well, then locations get more complex, and I did unfortunately notice some frame rate stutters. I'd say here it's near perfect, like 97% of the time, but yeah, you'll see it definitely towards the end game. And yeah, a few stutters for me, they fell in unfortunate locations, like heading into a wall ride. It just completely messed up my feel and timing for that run. You know, it basically made me stumble. Overall for gameplay though, like outside of that, if skateboarding, almost let's say platforming action sounds like your thing, absolutely come here. If you like high score chasing, absolutely come here as well. And yeah, if you're a fan of the series already, I do not think you will be disappointed. Visually then, it's stunning. It gives me that kind of Rick and Morty vibe, and it's way beyond what we've seen from OlliOlli before. The worlds, the biomes, they are varied and vibrant. It's always kind of easy to navigate and figure out what comes next, and then of course it's super crisp as well. This is especially true if you're running the new OLED system handout. It looks absolutely stunning. Menus are clean though, they are simple but pack a ton of information. The world as it unlocks will keep you interested, and then again, like cosmetics, they're not my thing, but the amount of options packed in here, it is impressive. Problems visually, very few. I think they decided upon a style and they absolutely embraced it, but there was a few moments here where the text was flickering in dialogue exchanges, and at one point a cutscene, it did glitch out on me, a character's a frozen spot. That is definitely me being picky though. The in-game action, again, look, it is absolutely stunning. Audio finally, and I'll keep it quick. The world has everything you would expect. Sounds to accompany the board, grinds, wall rides, landing tricks, all that good stuff. And it sounds fantastic. It has this stunning soundtrack, and you can actually skip through it with the triggers, but in typical kind of sports fashion, it's contributions from multiple artists, and there's some really good stuff in here that should, you know, everybody should enjoy something in here that finds something to their taste. There's also then some very basic environmental effects as well, and that makes sense that they are basic. I think it would have been completely overwhelming if they had went in a little bit too heavy. I wish the characters had voice acting. If anything, they pack so much character in their design and animation, so that's kind of a shame, honestly. They couldn't really add that extra bit of depth, but apart from that, again, really good stuff. So the final verdict, and as soon as this was announced, I was psyched for it. I loved the originals and still strongly recommend them. This takes the experience in a new direction, at least in its presentation, and it for the most part works. A unique world, a solid cast of characters, and these stages, it may be some of their best work yet. It does have some issues though at the same time. Their frame rate stumbled towards the end game, that really kind of hurt the story. It can be a little bit too much having it before and after each and every level, and I still believe there's more they can do with multiplayer. That all said though, you invest in that high score chasing and overcoming objectives, and this will keep you coming back for a long time. A great 8 out of 10 from me today, and hopefully it isn't the last we see of OlliOlli. This is a bold new direction, and I'd love to see them explore it even further. Will you be adding this one to the library then, or are you hoarding onto that cash? A shout out then to the patrons of the channel who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we will do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.